Hey guys, your friendly neighborhood gamer man here. Welcome to the channel. We are back at my Star Wars, my arcade one up, Atari Star Wars modded cabinet. And we're gonna do just a quick tutorial. Somebody asked me a few questions about changing the controls. So we're going to go into a couple of different emulators and change the controls in a few games. I wanted to have a view where you could see the yoke as well. So let's see what we have right now. I think he didn't like these buttons up here as the main buttons, and yeah, I kind of feel the same way. It makes, you know, your thumb tired if you want to play for a long time. But what I did was, on some of them, I changed it to these back trigger buttons, and I kind of mixed them up. So some are on these top buttons, some are on the back trigger buttons. It's like, yeah, you got to mess with it for a second unless you memorize which they are, but not the worst thing in the world. So in a Mame game, you'll just click tab. This game's controls. And now you'll see all the different options. Supercharger, paddle analog, pedal 1, pedal 2. So I believe we can change this one. Let me just see before I change the back one if that's set to anything. It's probably set to one of the superchargers. But anyway, I could set it back. So what I'm going to do is just press enter. And I like using these big red buttons. I use that in Turbo Outrun, and you can just kind of smack it with your left hand, and it's a lot of fun to do that. So that's basically all it is. Highlight it, click a button, return to previous menu, and you can test it, and then return to game. You can test it. If something didn't work, if you don't like how that button feels, just press tab again. Go into this game's controls, and you can set them. And there's other things you can do in dip switches too. Set the difficulty to easy, normal, hard. I should probably leave it on easy. I stink at these games. Go back, tab, return to previous menu. So let's go to this game's controls again. Let's see what I did here. And so the pedal 1, pedal 2 is your accelerator and your brake, and paddle is your yoke in this case. So you can mess with this in some games. They're all kind of a little different. So that's not what we're doing here anyway, but sometimes you need to mess around. Sometimes all you need is paddle analog 1, nothing on the deck and ink, and sometimes you need that. So tab. Just take a look at the dip switches. You can change the cabinet. Difficulty normal. Yeah, this game is kind of easy. I'll leave it on normal. But it's kind of cool to look at all the dip switches and see what kind of options you have on each game. So this game's controls. So you have the gear shift. I actually used this analog joystick here for some of the shifters. Some of the games that have 4 shifters, 2 shifters, I used them. I think that might be what I did here. I'm trying to remember. But here's that turbo button that I set. I have it set to 2 buttons. So let me get rid of that. Boom, that's the turbo button. Joy 1, button 4, that's it. And then you can change any of these options. That's all it is. We do a little gameplay. Yeah, and I did reset it to that back button here already. So there it is. Let me shift. And then smack my turbo button. And there I go. So with Mame, fairly simple. Every game is fairly simple except pole position. That one you'll never get working no matter what you do. So for this one, I'm gonna press escape again, and we'll get into this menu. And I'll click switch to desktop mode, if you can see that. I like to switch to desktop mode and just minimize it. Let's go into right here, go into the F drive, launch box, emulators, teknoparrot. So teknoparrot is running all those modern racers. So I'll show you how to do the mapping on teknoparrot too, because you can change those buttons up and it's fairly simple. The only thing is I ran into a strange problem yesterday when I was doing the Fast and the Furious, where it was picking it up as keyboard buttons. So it's really easy to, you just go to controller setup here and, that's it. You'll click your buttons. See, I don't know exactly how B did this, because here it's also picking up the keyboard buttons, almost like a joy key thing open. So I had it open, it was picking up keyboard buttons and it wasn't working. So then what I did was I just switched it to SW yoke default and left it on that. The only thing is these are all supposed to be assigned, so it shouldn't matter kind of what you leave it on. So I don't know why it did that, but if you find something weird, just go to joy key, put it on SW, and it should be fine. So I wanted to do a little demo of this game too. This is something I added, and any motorcycle game you can add. They work so well with this yoke, and they're so much fun to play. This is a really cool classic game, in my opinion. And it plays really well, and it's very easy to load up. It's one ROM, one file. No CHD, nothing else to help it work, and it works right with the Mame that's already on this PC. I need a button to smash in this one for something. Oh, there's only one other button that you use. It's a button to recenter. I don't really get what that's for. Oh, and there's a suicide button. That's great, right? Yeah, dude, I don't know what recenter is for. I guess that's like a quick way if you're in trouble about to hit somebody, you smash that and you can just get out of the way. I haven't messed with that function yet. See, like right there, that probably could have pressed that center button and just gotten out of the way. We put it in the games folder. So go back, launch box, you can go to games, go to Mame. Is it Mame or Arcade? Arcade, right up here, Arcade Mame. Click that. And then you can click and put it right in here. See, this is my file Racing Hero. Once you put that in, you'll go into Mame. So Launchbox, emulators, Mame. Yeah, there it is, Mame. You click on it, and you can find your game. So this is how you would test out or play a game directly. If you don't want the entire back end or front end, which is Launchbox and Big Box, you can just play it straight from here. You know, you do this when you kind of just want to test it. Or I showed this in another video. In some of these games, you can go to, you can configure the configure options for the game. So configure options, and you can customize things. So sometimes you go here to customize the trackball or whatever accessories you would use here. In this case, we're not using them, but I do this for video options too. To some of these games are, I don't have bezels. For this, we don't use bezels, but for other ones, use bezels. So I showed this before, but we'll do windowed mode. Oh, enforce aspect ratio, make sure that's off. And as long as it's off, that's how it'll stretch to full screen. That's like the biggest thing I use here in these options. Then we can go, oh, not online, what do I do? Oh. We can go here to our launch box. So remember, we got out of big box and we said go to desktop mode. Launch box will be desktop mode, or you can open launch box from, you know, the F folder. And then from here, you'll just click this big box, this blue box, and it'll take you to your front end. So over here, we can click on Tools, Import ROM files. Next, and Add file. Then we'll look at the file. Usually it'll be a file that you just downloaded. I just did Wreckfest too on Steam, and I uploaded that one. I wanted to upload the main game. Should I upload one that I already have? Just do it again and then erase it? We could do that. So ROMs, actually this is a different Mame. I uploaded another Mame here. We'll do arcade Mame, so maybe we'll do that one. What is that called? Racing Hero. So just remember what it's called. They're all like nicknamed. This is like Rack Hero. So open that. Next. And what platform are you importing these games for? So you'll click arcade. Mame will be your emulator, unless it's another one. Like I added another one, Mame 193. That's my own. You know, if you're using Teknoparrot, you'll go to Teknoparrot. When you're doing Steam, if you're doing Steam, it actually loads up as nothing. You'll just have to go to an empty space there. You can also click manual import, and then it's a little easier to adjust. You won't have to put any emulator. You can just click no emulator on that section. So this pretty much, you don't have to read over too much of it, just next, next, next. Well, look at that. For some reason, it didn't pick up my file. Maybe because it loaded twice. Let's see what happens when it does that. Maybe because it's there twice. Or sometimes it doesn't show up. That anytime that happens, I manually upload it and it works fine. All right, let's see if that worked. So you see right here where it says playlist, we can click the drop down menu, and instead of looking through the whole thing, we can just go to date added and today. See, for some reason it didn't want to add that. I don't know if it's because I already had it or what, but this is a good opportunity to show you how to do it manually. So we will go to import and manually add game. Title. What is it called? Race Hero. Let's see if it finds it. What the hell's this game called? Racing Hero. Let's go to launching, and we'll put the application path. So right here we're in games. We'll go to R. Open. And then emulation. Use an emulator, and then you choose your emulator. Mame 193. Oh, that's mine. Where's the other Mame? There it is, Mame. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so Race Hero right there. So let's go back. So I'm going to right click and edit metadata media. That's how you open up this window again. Is it called Racing Hero? Because this is a pretty famous game. Should be able to find it. Let's see if this is the game. It might not be, but it found something. So let's go to images, download media. Then it found all this stuff, and then right here we'll click download. Let's see if this is the game. It's a cool looking arcade. I don't know if it's the right one though. Whoa, that looks really cool. Yeah, it's a motorcycle game. Yep, this is it. Man, I would love to have something that looks like that. How cool. Arcade 1UP needs to do some kind of motorcycle cab, and not with something that looks like a yoke. It needs to look like that. And have the gears, the shifters on the yoke. I don't know if that's what it's called on a bike. Videos. So you can add a video. The way I usually do it is I just do like a screen record of myself playing the game, or if I find something cool on YouTube, I'll just record that, and you could save it anywhere and then just write add video and then find it and add it. I don't know if I had one for that. I think I do somewhere. I don't want to look for it now though. So click OK, and right there we should get, see, our logo. Now one more thing we need to do to upload it to Big Box, to the wheel, and to the menus. So you'll write edit, add to playlist, and which playlist will we add it to? Whatever you want. And you can make a new playlist right there, new playlist. You can add a new one. So whatever you want to do. I'm not going to add it now because I already have Racing Hero there. So that's it. That's the tutorial.